Hey there. So I'm gonna get kind of deep. There's something to be said for, there's a lot of things to be said for understanding that you're an intricate piece of everything in existence. I mean, there are some that say that they know that, and somehow, in some way, it just stops there. They're like, oh, well, it's all me, so I'm just gonna do whatever I'm gonna do. And that must be pretty freaking nice. But for me, it operates a little differently. Because I do know that. But I also know that everything else is that for each individual facet. So the guy next door or my roommate. Now, my roommate doesn't know anything about spirituality. So she wouldn't look at me and see herself. But that is truly what is happening. And the intricate beauty of what that means and how that feels and what it exposes at a core level in regards to our actions and our thoughts, what we do, like how we feel about things. It means something pretty significant. I can't say a word to anyone without being able to feel the impact of what that is at a soul level. To me, that is beyond empathic. And the weight can get kind of heavy at times. I am still grateful. Always grateful. There's this funny thing that happens, though, when you have that ability and you have the ability to heal and alchemize for others. You have to be able to learn to use your powers of discerning whether or not the reflections that you're seeing and the fragments of you are even willing to observe that that's what's happening, and how responsibly they can hold that if there's someone that claims to have that level of awareness. Because something I identified maybe a while back, but I feel it all the time, in microscopic and profound ways. So let's just say I'm having an interaction with someone and I have a divine revelation of what it is they're going through. And I can see the patterns. I can feel the pain, especially since I've had many painful experiences in this lifetime before I realized what was going on and didn't know quite how to organize it all into the proper perspectives. What ends up happening, and it's beautiful that I'm able to alchemize that for them. And my processes can pay forward the ripple into their lives to a certain degree. They will have to revisit the same type of scenario to be able to put the dots connect the dots for themselves. But sometimes I identify that that's kind of why I choose not to dive too deep and have too many interactions with too many people at deep levels. Because what that does is leaves me doing the karmic work for them. Not really in a way that can help them. Sometimes it just excuses their behavior and the choices that they're making and the deeds that they're choosing to function in. And it doesn't allow them the chance to grow. and evolve and make a better impact in the world around them, whether they've chosen to in this lifetime or not. You know, to each their own. Everybody has their own free will to do what they want. But when you're as profoundly sensitive as I am, you have to be able to discern that each person deserves a chance to unfold themselves. But you see, I can't really turn my gift off. You know, I can keep quiet when it's necessary, and I can tell that it's not time to feed meat to a baby. But I can't stop the feelings, and I can't stop the fractal implosion, because I'm always tapped in and turned on. And I refuse to shut anything down and call it detaching, because that's not what detachment is. To a certain degree, maybe. It could be defined that way. But I don't want to feel separate from my fractals. I want to be able to feel them and dance with them in the fractalized fashion that we do, creating kaleidoscopes of beauty. But there's definitely something to be said for being everything in existence. And even though I find it bewildering that anyone could know that and just live a simple life where they go about their day and just do whatever it is they want to do, thinking that all of the fragments of God are there to serve them and that they owe them nothing and that everything is just happening. It sometimes blows my mind. But I'm willing to feel that and hold the understanding of what that might mean for their soul's journey and destination in this lifetime. And even though it's heavy, it does become light, literally and energetically. That's all we were made of anyway. We're just vibrating at such a fast pace that we seem rather solid. But I'll never turn my heart off. I'll never desensitize it, because my sensitivities make me intricately exactly who it is that I chose to come and be in this walk on this planet. And it is the greatest superpower that I have in connecting patterns, understanding human behavior, seeing how it is this world became what it's become, and how it can be so much more. The awarenesses that I have come with the ability to feel. You know, I've had a pretty experiential life with what a lot of people could call hardship. You know, I've been through a lot of traumas, and it's given me a pretty good baseline to see what's what, identify patterns, figure out how it is that things turned out the way that they do. But you see, I didn't actually allow myself to feel until it's probably a little while after my mom's suicide, when I was like 28. I actually stayed pretty strong for a couple of years after that, just pushing through, getting on, staying busy. I used to clean a lot of houses, ride 10 city buses a day, working my little butt off. I didn't even know that I wasn't allowing myself to feel. You know, I would process things in such a way that it made sense. And I didn't realize that just because it made sense didn't mean that there were feelings and energies stored within my body and my heart that were asking for expression. And it took me a long time to be able to do that. Because there was times that I would feel things, and it was like I could feel the weight of humanity and all of the repeat ripples that had taken place that created that same energy. And I didn't understand what I understand now, but I would say, and I've said to people, like, man, it feels like I've been doing this for a lot longer than I have. It feels like this one experience is like the weight of the world, like it's happened a million times. Little did I know that that was extremely accurate. And I still have that stay strong mentality. It takes quite a bit to rattle my cage. And sometimes, because I know that and I'm aware of that, even though I started taking my highly solidified? A whole bunch of salt in my bath. Now it's a little more Epsom salt, but I mean handfuls and handfuls of salt in a very scorching hot bath to purge out emotions that I'm aware that I'm storing because my body will tell me so. You know, being able to identify all those things. But feeling is healing. And when you get those, you know, and I've heard it said before, and I know it to be true from my own personal experience, that tears are portals to truth. We express how we feel, and we unlock things that we never even knew existed within us. And it's a real thing that takes place. And it opens the pathway for new information and new gifts and a higher level of awareness of who we are and how we're connected to everything. And like I always say in my writings, you gotta feel it to heal it. And today's been a day of rest. A lot of energy poured through last night. And you can check it out on the Schumann Resonance if you want. I disclosed some pretty beautiful information yesterday that I had been marinating for way too long, which is hilarious because on the same day, apparently there was this mass UAP disclosure that I didn't even know had taken place. And is that coincidence that we're all doing this at the same time? Yes and no, because coincidence isn't how we define it. You know, everybody thinks of the word of coincidence thinking it's like a happenstance. No, it literally means coincident, which means it took more than one being or situation or encounter or experience simultaneously for it to be like a co-creative experience, an incident that happened between more than one person. And that is intricate magic, if you ask me. And there's a such thing as coincidence, but when I use it in the happenstance way, then no, I don't believe in coincidence. But it's intricate beauty. And in order to heal, we have to feel. And I know I've made videos on this before, but maybe not to this extent. But don't be afraid to cry. Don't be afraid to feel how the pattern choices that you make in this lifetime are attached to everybody and everything around you, and the outcomes that you see unfold. And it's also the reason in which the world looks the way that it does. Because everybody carries those patterns. And I mean, if somebody did think it was just all them, you think that they would understand that that's the reason that the world looks the way it does. Not just for a contrasting experience. Because it doesn't need to be that crazy of a situation to wake us up if we truly understand what's happening. It's pertinent to a certain degree, but not necessary. The more of us that do this, I mean, isn't this a little easier than going through war? I mean, wouldn't you think that that would just be more logical? feel the weight of our choices and make different ones, better ones, that leave ripples that our children can ride smoothly so that they don't have to undergo the same levels of suffering that so many people in this world have to go through. It all starts with being real with yourself and how you feel about the things that you're doing and the things that you're seeing, and being as authentic about that as possible. And not everybody's going to want to hear what you have to say, and not everybody's going to understand at all what you're saying. And it could leave some people confused when you are digging as deep as you might get when you start identifying how deep the layers go and how much everything in your present moment is your reflection, and you owe them the truth of what it is that you witness. And it's pivotally important that whatever you witness, you understand dwells within you, especially if you know you're everything in existence, and that somehow, some way, that you can do something about it. And I have all the faith that you can. I know I've been doing it, and it's really showing to unlock pathways of beauty and a profound peace that would never have been found in any other way, that most definitely surpasses most levels of understanding. So just know that if I can do it, you can do it. And if you can't, I'm always here. And I love you intricately, deeply, profoundly, and madly. Have a good day.